climate of India. So, in climate, first we find out the factors controlling climate. फैक्टर्स कंट्रोलिंग क्लाइमेट है, मैकेनिज्म है फैक्टर्स डिटरमाइनिंग द क्लाइमेट ऑफ इंडिया, राइट. क्लाइमेट क्लासिफिकेशन उसको हम बाद में लेंगे लास्ट में इंडिया का. ओके, सो द फैक्टर्स कंट्रोलिंग क्लाइमेट ऑफ इंडिया, द फर्स्ट इट कम्स द नंबर 1 लैटिट्यूड्स. व्हाट इज द लैटिट्यूडनल एक्सटेंशन ऑफ इंडिया? दिस इज 8 degree 4 minute north to 37 degree 6 minute north, right, and the 23.5 degree Tropic of Cancer divides India into 2 equal parts. So that southern part of India has the climate more or less similar to equatorial climate. Equatorial climate, it is similar, it is not exactly, right. This is similar to equatorial climate. Similar means this will not have the exact accurate the climatic condition or atmospheric condition equal to or similar to the equatorial region. So this is the similar to the equatorial climate. Then this region it is ट्रॉपिकल क्लाइमेट. ट्रॉपिकल क्लाइमेट का मतलब क्या होता है? व्हाट डज इट मीन द ट्रॉपिकल क्लाइमेट? ट्रॉपिकल क्लाइमेट मीन्स देयर थ्रू आउट द ईयर द टेम्परेचर विल रिमेन और द टेम्परेचर विल बी मोर देन 18 डिग्री सेल्सियस इवन इन द विंटर सीजन. Temperature will be more than 18 degree Celsius even in the winter season. Means what? So seasonality will not be as such pronounced. No seasons. Clear? So south of Tropic of Cancer we do not find the change in the seasons. So uniformity throughout the year will prevail. Clear? Then after this zone is, it comes the subtropical climate. The north of Tropic of Cancer. So that zone it comes to the tropical climate. So this area, the entire Gangetic Plain, it comes in the subtropical climate. Subtropical climate has the defined seasons. It will have seasons. Seasons in the sense, so they will be defined summer and winters. Summer and winters, right? Number 2 factor, it comes to the altitude. So in terms of the climatic condition in India, altitude has a major impact or the major influence. Reason for, you remember the normal lapse rate we have discussed? Climate, normal lapse rate. What is normal lapse rate? Decrease of temperature with increasing the altitude. So means at the rate of decrease of temperature with increasing the altitude at the rate of 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. This is called normal lapse rate. So the altitude has been the controlling impact on the climate. So means as the height increases, the temperature decreases. So the Himalayan zones, they have the effect of altitude. So in the Himalayan zones there is a temperate climate. Temperate climate means what? more बताया था इसको, that the thermal zones of the earth, the tropical zone is called the, or this is called tropical zone. It means surplus insolation. So surplus insolation means the temperature will be recorded high throughout the year. Then it is the up to 55 degree. This is called temperate zone. Temperate zone is called the moderate thermal condition. Clear or not? then it is called the frigid zone. It is frigid zone, right. So, therefore, there is a different zones of the over the earth on the basis of latitude. So, in the Himalayas, what is the extension of India? 37 degree 6 minute, but this zone is also in the subtropical region. Are you getting me? The Himalayan zones also come in the subtropical region latitudinally, but because of altitude there is a temperate climate. Got it or not? So, their temperature or the altitude starts affecting. So, even though there is a 45 degree Celsius temperature or 47 degree Celsius temperature in Rajasthan, there will be temperature will be low or the equal to ice caps or freezing condition on the mountains in Himalayas. Are you getting me? Clear हो गया? So, the altitude has a very key factor or the very key factor for or the influencing the climate. So, because of altitude there is the temperate climate in India in the Himalayan zones. Even in the summer if it is scorching in the Rajasthan, the moderate temperature condition will prevail in the Himalayan zones. Am I clear to all? Clear? Then after number 3 is continentality. Continentality means distance from sea. Distance from sea. So, more the continentality, more dryness in atmosphere will prevail. Right? So, means there will be more of a prevalence of dry climate. Clear or not? More we go away from the coast, so more the dryness starts prevailing, developing the dry climate. So, dry in the sense of cold, dry in the sense of warm. Got it? So, Rajasthan desert is excessively warm, at the same time Rajasthan desert is warm. The Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and NCR region is having the excessive warm condition during the summers, and also the same rate there will be cold, their cold condition prevails in the winter. So, the effect of continentality and the effect of distance from the sea has been responsible for controlling the climate over an area. Clear? समझ में आ गया? Right. So, that the wide variation or the differentiation in the temperature prevails. Got it or not? बोलो कुछ तो. In the case of Mumbai, हाँ तो उसको you can see this. This is on the coastal areas. In the coastal areas, see, in the coastal areas, or this is the case of, take example of the coastal cities. Coastal cities, there are the two effect. One, latitudinal location, it is close to the equator or close to the lower latitude, south of Tropic of Cancer, right, and also near the coast. Near the coast. So, this is Mumbai, Trivandrum, Kochi, Chennai, Visakhapatnam. They are south of Tropic of Cancer. So, certainly there will be more of the humid condition, temperature will be recorded high, and also as they are near the coast, their humid condition will prevail. Right? Rate of evaporation will be high. Climatology में पढ़ा था evaporation process. So, rate of evaporation will be high and rate of evaporation will be throughout the year. So, this area will have the humid and the cloudy condition. Got it or not? So, temperature variation and temperature variation will be absent. If the temperature variation is absent, so then there will be no variation in the climatic conditions. Clear? Same होगा ना? in the throughout the years when the uniformity in the temperature is prevailing in this zone, so then the temperature is different. What is the season आप बताओ. अच्छा ये बताओ weather क्या होता है. What is weather? You have heard this term? What is weather? Day to day it is called, NCERT में लिखा आपका 6th class NCERT, R to R and day to day change in the atmospheric condition. Morning it was quite brighty sun, no? अभी बारिश हो गया. So it is a part of the weather only, right? So the variation in the hours, the atmospheric condition of the hours and the day to day. Day to day means of the 24 hours, right? Atmospheric condition is it is a weather. Season is average aggregate of temperature, precipitation, humidity, pressure, wind pattern over a period of 3 to 4 months is called season, right or not? Every day, is it not the phenomenon of temperature? Temperature, precipitation, humidity, pressure, wind pattern, these all are the phenomena of weather, right? G.T. Trivartha has said, G.T. Trivartha is a very famous American climatologist. G.T. Trivartha says the climate is differentiation of the aggregate of the weather, right? Clear? So that is, this is a differentiation of the average of the temperature of these phenomena over a period of time for 3 months, 4 months. This is called season. When uniformity is prevailing over a period of time, 3 months, 4 months, that is called the season. अभी अगर हम इसको बोलेंगे, सब average temperature of the earth is 18 degrees Celsius, right? When the temperature is rising more, higher than the 18 degrees Celsius and it goes to the 45 degrees Celsius, 47 degrees Celsius, क्या हो जाएगा ये? What will happen? Or the temperature has been maintained 22 degree, 23 degree, 24 degree, so then it will be more or less close to the average temperature. So can we call this is summer? Extreme summer. Temperature decreases to the 2 degree, 5 degree, 3 degree. तो ये क्या हो गया? This is winter. Means what? This is summer, this is winter. समझ में आ गया इसको डायग्राम से यहाँ से? Are you getting this diagram? Means larger the variation, then the larger the variation from average temperature of an area is the condition for prevailing the season, right? Larger the variation from the average temperature of an area, so there will be more the prevalence of season, correct? Either it is summer or the winter, right? Where there will be more extreme summer, there will be more extreme winter, yaad rakhna. Where there is a more extreme summer, there will be more extreme winter. If there is no summer, there will be no winter, right? For example, if the temperature has been also near the 15 degree, 14 degree, 18 degree, 19 degree, 16 degree, can we call there the seasonality is prevailing? Yes or no? If the temperature, average temperature of an area is 25 degrees Celsius, so their temperature has been about 27, 28, 30 degree. Here the temperature is 22 degree, 23 degree, 24 degree. Is the seasons prevailing in this zone? Yes or no? No. Reason? So that is the tropical region in India. This is the this is the season, this is the region of, in the north this is northern plains. क्लियर, समझ में आ गई. हिमालयस में सीजन होगा नहीं होगा? विल द सीजन प्रिवेल इन द हिमालयस? Altitude effect, summer temperature is moderate, their seasons prevails or not? हिमालयस में सीजन्स होता है नहीं होता? लेस, तो कितना होता है? सीजन होता नहीं होता? बताओ. विंटर होता है, मॉडरेट, सो द वेरिएशन उसमें है नहीं है. Summer temperature in the Himalayas is about 15 degrees Celsius average of summer. Winters -5, -10 degrees Celsius average or the near the 0 degree. Yes or no? तो variation है नहीं है? Yes or no? So this is mild summer and cold winters. Seasonality is there. बट देयर द वेरिएशन इज लेसर. पोलर एरियाज में सीजन होगा नहीं होगा? पोलर एरियाज में सीजन होता नहीं होता? इन पोलर एरियाज सीजन इज देयर और नॉट? नो सीजन इन पोलर. इज देयर विंटर एंड समर्स इन द पोलर एरियाज where the ice is completely frozen? No. Summer temperature in the polar region, so the summer temperature there is 0 to day temperature is summer season, day temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. Night temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, right? Winter season, day temperature is 0 degree, night temperature is -45, -50, -60. Season हुआ नहीं हुआ? So polar areas also have the season. It means when we go more away from the equatorial zone, the season starts prevailing. Correct or not? Clear? Means this zone, the tropical zone, this zone is lying within the tropical region. So variation in temperature will happen or not? बोलो जल्दी, fast. It will be less variation, so that is not sufficient for making the difference in the temperature. So that seasonality does not prevail in the tropical areas. आप चले जाओ गर्म सर्दियों में. I used to go. I go there in Hyderabad for teaching. In the month of December, in the January, I was having the 5 woolens, and when I landed there on the airport, I removed one by one. No winter. The winter of that area is equivalent to the cold condition in the October, which happens in the north. Getting? Why? Because it lies in the tropical areas. The variation in temperature is absent, no seasonality. Clear? Latitudinal location, close to the coast. What is the impact of the location on the coast? Because insolational heating of the water is more. Albedo का concept बताया था आपको. We discussed the concept of albedo. So albedo means what is the albedo of water? What is albedo of water? Only 5%, 10% means it reflects only 5 to 10%. Rest it absorbs. More absorption means more heating. The heating of the water will take place, then it will become warm. So then warm is there, so then the latent heat of the water will develop and the water will be heated. Then vaporization will happen. Vaporization means formation of cloud, right? When the clouds are there in the atmosphere, so terrestrial radiation will happen. So this radiated heat will be trapped by the clouds. It will absorb, yes or no? When the terrestrial rate is reaching to the cloud, so this is trapping and sending back to the earth. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Radiation, terrestrial radiation, and process of sending back to the surface is called the counter radiation. So counter radiation is higher in the coastal areas because of excessive cloudiness. Excessive cloudiness is because of evaporation. Evaporation is because of coastal location. So this counter radiation is more. So this atmosphere will become warm or not? Certainly warm. Variation in the temperature will not prevail. क्या हो गया? Uniformity is prevailing throughout the year. Season is absent. Clear हो गया? So, the location, latitude, the coastal location is also responsible for the climatic condition. Climate क्या होता है? What is climate? What is climate? The aggregate of all these condition over a period of 30 to 33 years. This has been taken by the IMD. Right? तो कभी भी climatic prediction जब की बात करेंगे ना हम, when we call this is a prediction of climate, so we take the average aggregate temperature over the period of 30 to 33 years at least. Then if you are taking the long period variation, we can easily and more accurately predict the climatic condition of an area for the average, right? That is according to IMD. WMO क्या बोलते हैं? World Meteorological Organization इसी को बोलते हैं. WMO, World Meteorological Organization, says the 31 years of this average temperature of the temperature precipitation. Clear all or not? समझ में आ गया? बोलो. So that is temperature, precipitation, humidity, pressure, wind pattern. This all have been taken in the aggregate of the 30 to 33 years. WMD is taking out WMD considering it for the 31 years, right? So this latitude, altitude, continentality has been responsible for controlling the or developing a climate of an area. Then after there is a wind pattern. Or prevailing winds. Prevailing winds, right? So this can be called, this is onshore winds, offshore winds, onshore winds during the summer season. India experience onshore winds. Winter seasons, there is a movement of offshore winds. तो क्या होगा? Summer season, the India has been experiencing the arrival of wind from the oceans, right? The wind is coming from the oceans. कौन सा wind हो गया ये? It is coming from the equator. It is coming from the equator. So what will be the properties of the physical state of the wind? What will be the physical state of the wind? It is coming from the equator. What will be physical state of the wind? It will be warm, equatorial zone. It will be moist because in the equatorial oceans it will absorb moisture. So this is warm and moist, right? So the wind is onshore. So it will bring the moisture on the coastal areas. तो क्या होगा ये? What will happen then? So there will be the complete area, this entirely in the northern India also, it will have humid condition or humid climate. बारिश होता नहीं, rainfall occurs. So during the summer it has humid climate, reason for onshore wind. कौन सा wind है? This is monsoon. So monsoon wind, onshore winds or prevailing winds are making the climate of India what? Monsoonal climate. It is monsoonal climate. Am I clear? Got it or not? Why it is called monsoonal climate? Because winds coming from the oceans have been causing the rain entirely 80% over the country. So, therefore, the climate of India has been called monsoonal climate, or it or not. During the summer season, winds are coming from the ocean. So, that is responsible for the raining over the entire India. So, years 80% rainfall occurs during the 4 months, June, July, August, September, right. So, therefore, is it not the season? Is it not the part of season? Yes or no? Subdivision of the seasons, summer season. So, that is particularly called rainy season. समझ में आ गया? Then during the month of, or from the month of October, the land starts cooling. So, this cooling effect is responsible for the movement of wind from India to oceans. So, is it not the offshore winds, right? So, offshore winds are responsible for cooling and winter, and onshore winds are responsible for summer and humid, right. So, India has been experiencing the two quite varied climatic condition. Now, अभी होगा किसमें tropical region भी तो है इसमें, there also should be the cold condition then, but because of the latitudinal condition, latitudinal location, the variation in the temperature has not been observed much, right, because it has not been heated. So, it has not been so much cooled. So, it will not be heated so much, but northern part of India has been heated much and the cooled also, terrestrial radiation. So, the average heating, if suppose a question if it comes, the northern plains will be heated much, but the southern India lies in the tropical region which receives the insolation throughout the year. क्या होगा इसका आंसर? Variation in the temperature will be more there in the northern plains. So, the variation is because of more of the heating surface, right, but there also this southern part of India or this south of Tropic of Cancer, the whole area has been heated throughout the year, but variation of heating is relatively lesser, right. So, in that part of the India, northern part of India, the rate of heating is higher for this certain time period. So, that is why variation is more, and at the same rate it is cooled. Clear हो गया, right. So, there has been the variation of the climate. So, this area, the climate of India has been called monsoonal climate. Then it also will have the offshore winds.
Sir, if we know that the western Ghats and the eastern Ghats play a role for less rainfall as compared to the northern areas.
हाँ.
So, physiography or topography regions are the more valuable reason as compared to the temperature or isolation.
No. Their relief are playing role in the rainfall pattern of India, right, but that relief is not controlling the insolation. Insolation received on the earth is the reason for the location on the globe. So, these relief will have the local effect. This relief will have the effect of normal lapse rate, means their temperature will be relatively lower in comparison to the surrounding area. Bengaluru, temperature of Bengaluru is lesser than the surrounding plateau, reason for elevation, right. The Guru Shikhar in the Rajasthan has relatively 2 degree lesser temperature than the surrounding area, again the reason for altitude, but this area is also lying in the south of Tropic of Cancer, but uniformity throughout the year will prevail. So, same climatic condition will prevail in the Bengaluru. So, variation will not be observed on the basis of the latitudinal location over the globe. More we go away from the Tropic of Cancer, their variation in the temperature starts, and more the variation means there will more the extremities in the climate will start prevailing. We go from Tropic of Cancer to pole, extremities are prevailing or not? Minus 50 degree, minus 60 degree temperature is reaching there because of deficit insolation, right. So, temperature will decrease more, right. So, then there will be more of the cooling effect will prevail. Clear? समझ में आ गया? So, these factors are responsible for controlling the climate in the India. right? So, climate of India has been called monsoonal climate. Monsoonal climate, right? It is called the monsoonal climate. It is called monsoonal climate because the 80% of rainfall occurs in summer season. 80% of rainfall occurs in the summer season, and almost India, almost whole country has been covered under this rainfall pattern. Therefore, climate of India has been called monsoonal climate, right? Clear? Then the location of India is, what is the location of India? Latitudinal location कितना था ये? 8 degree 4 minute to 37 degree 6 minute north. It is also north. Then 23.5 degree, it divides India into 2 equal part, right? So that this tropical region has been heated equally or with the same rate throughout the year, right? But these subtropical areas, including the Himalayas, but Himalayan altitudinal effect I am skipping up because there is a effect of normal lapse rate. But this whole zone of the Gangetic Plain from the Rajasthan to Uttar Pradesh to Bihar to West Bengal to the Assam. So, they all lying in the subtropical zone, right? This area is called the subtropical zone. During the summer, sun's location is over the Tropic of Cancer. So, sun's rays are vertical over the Tropic of Cancer, right? So, here also will be almost vertical rays in the subtropical areas, right or not? So, so the amount of insolation received over the surface will be high or low? Amount of insolation received over the surface in the subtropical areas will be high or low? It will be high. It is on the equatorial, it is on the Tropic of Cancer. So, this also will have the almost high insolation, right? So, this is high insolation. Okay. What is there in the west of the India? In Rajasthan, it is desert, Thar desert. So, rate of heating of the desert is high or low? High. Albedo of the desert is 35% only. Albedo of the desert is only 35%. 35% means it is reflecting the 35 and it is absorbing the 65% of insolation of the sun. So, it will be becoming warmer faster. So, temperature in the western part of the India, so will increase faster. So, will it not increase faster than the tropical region? समझ में आ गया? अगर आपको प्रीलिम्स से पूछ लेगा why the tropical region has been heated lesser even though locating in the tropical areas. Why tropical region has been heated lesser in comparison to the subtropical areas even though locating in the tropical region? क्यों? बोलो. Mountains पढ़ा इसमें. Physiography, there are the Western Ghat, there are plateau, there are some hills. So, there is this topography is undulating, there is rugged topography. Rugged means the mountains are there, valleys are there, this elevation is there, plateau is there. again there is a valley, again the mountains are there. If I draw the cross section from the north to south, so we will have this is Satpura range, or this is Vindhyan range, Satpura range, then after this is Ajanta hills, Balaghat range, Harishchandra range, then after this is Satamala hills, then we will come on the Karnataka plateau, then after there is Mysore plateau, then after there is Nilgiri hills, and after this Palani, then Pachamalai, then Annamalai hills. Is it not having the variation in the elevation over the area? So, will it not vary the temperature or not? Even though lying in the tropical areas, this average temperature of this region is high, right? But in spite of that, there is a varied elevation in the areas. So, this has been heated relatively lesser in comparison to the subtropical areas. Thar desert absorbs the maximum insolation. Am I clear? So, it will be heated faster or not? It will be, subtropical areas will be heated more or less? Certainly, it will be heated more. So, high temperature has been recorded more in the subtropical region. So, subtropical region has been equally heated to the rate of tropical areas. समझ में आ गए? क्या बोलेंगे फिर? The climate of India is the tropical climate. Correct or not? समझ में आ गया? Climate of India is tropical climate. Even though half of the country lies in the tropical region, half of the country lies in the subtropical region. But the subtropical area has been heated equally more than the tropical region. So, climate of India has been called tropical climate. We have the more of the rainfall there in 80% of the rainfall occurs in the monsoon season. So, क्या हो गया climate India का? India's climate is tropical monsoonal climate. Correct or not? जल्दी फटाफट से बोलो. Is this clear? समझ में आ गया? Right? So, climate of India is a tropical monsoon climate. Right? Mechanism of weather समझ में आ गया? Mechanism of weather समझ में आ गया? Mechanism of weather in the summer season, temperature will be extremely varying, right? Why? On the basis of location on the globe or the location there on the India. So, that the location according to the Tropic of Cancer, this is 23.5 degree north, and also this is the same of the position of the sun. So, weather in the summer season, weather in summer season. So, this whole region, this up to 37 degree 6 minute, except this mountain areas. So, this whole area of the India will be heated faster, right. So, this temperature in the western part of India will be high, reason for desert, right. River valleys, Ganges river valleys will have also be a high temperature because of vertical rays of sun, and then after this Assam valley will have the more of temperature because of the vertical rays. But then after only, so there will be variation in the temperature in the northeastern hills, Purvanchal hills, variation in the temperature, the temperate condition will be prevailing in the mountain areas, right. So, there also will be some of the relatively lesser effect on the western Ghat, some of the local effect on the eastern Ghat, and then after few southern hills. Clear? So, during the summer, this northern part of India or the Gangetic plain or the subtropical region will be heated faster and more, summer season, right. So, the highest temperature, the variation in the temperature, highest variation in the temperature will be recorded in the desert areas, right. Now you come on this temperature variation in the summer season, sorry, winter season. temperature variation in winter season, then 23.5 degree north, 0 degree, and now this is a 23.5 degree south. So sun's position is there on the Tropic of Capricorn. So this area will have oblique rays, right? But this subtropical areas of India, 37 degree 6 minute, will have the more of the oblique rays, slanting rays per unit area of heating, will be high or low in subtropical areas. Low, right, because of angle of incidence, right. This western part of India has desert. The rate of heating is equal to the rate of cooling. There is a distance from the sea, right. The desert condition is a heated faster and will be cooled faster. Temperature will increase or decrease. It will decrease faster, so it will become cool. Here now the effect of mountain will start prevailing more effectively. So temperature in the mountain areas will decrease faster or slow. Again faster, reason for the angle of incidence is reduced. Elevation of the feature will start coming in the action. So then the more of the cold condition will start prevailing. So there will be fast decrease in the temperature. Clear? So this whole area will start coming under the effect of winter or large variation in the temperature. The rate of heating is equal to the rate of cooling. समझ में आ गया? क्लियर हो गया नहीं वो? राइट? अब इसको मॉनसून मैकेनिज्म से कनेक्ट कर दो. When the land has been heated faster, so there higher the temperature is lower the pressure, right? And lower the temperature is higher the pressure, right? Wind blows from high pressure to low pressure. So during the summer of the northern hemisphere, then so this whole area has been excessively heated. So there will be pressure high or low. That temperature is high, pressure will be high or low. There will be low pressure. On the surrounding oceans and the sea, water will be heated faster or slow. Water will be heated faster or slow. Sunlight can penetrate into the water up to 200 meter. This is called photic zone. So when the sunlight can penetrate into the water for the 200 meter, and over the land it can penetrate up to 2 meter, which will be heated faster? Land will be heated faster. So it will absorb or accumulate heat faster. Then in the surrounding oceans, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal or Indian Ocean, their temperature will be high, low. Temperature will be relatively low. Pressure high. Wind blows from high pressure to low pressure. कहाँ जाएगा? Wind will go from the high pressure to low pressure areas. इंडिया में आ जाएगा सारा wind. क्या हो गया? The pressure condition is responsible for the maintaining the flow from the sea to land in the summer season. Clear or not? Pressure condition over the northern India is maintaining the flow of wind from sea to land when in the summer season. Clear? So that is the mechanism or the flow of the monsoon. अभी land क्या हुआ यहाँ पर? Their temperature has decreased. Land will cool, right? In the winter season, so land is cooling. Temperature will decrease or not? Pressure, high pressure zone will create. High pressure means the outward movement of wind, departure of wind. So then this will start moving away from the India. क्या हो जाएगा ये? दिस विल मेक ए और दिस विल डेवलप ए हाई प्रेशर सेंटर, cooling surface. When the cooling is there, the no wind will stay here. If high pressure means there is a anticyclogenesis, and when this high pressure is there, so wind will be moving from the center to outside. So will there any wind stay there on? Yes or no? No. Then what will happen on this condition? So this will be absolutely dry and cold. Why cold? Because of temperature. Why dry? No moisture in the air. This will be warm and humid. When the wind is coming from oceans and the wind is warm, so they will carry moisture or not. So it will develop a warm and humid condition. Rainfall होगा यहाँ पर. यहाँ पे क्या है? Cold and dry. Precipitation will occur or not? Because of thermal condition over the land, the precipitation will not occur. Right? External factor may be responsible for causing the rainfall. Clear हो गया? Temperature variation and the thermal condition responsible for the origin of monsoon over the India. So the heating of the land in the northern India is only or the primary factor for origin of monsoon. Means the land will be heated more, so more the monsoon will be good. More the intense heating take place, the winds will be reaching there over the India. If this is not heated, then the pressure will not be adequate to pull the wind from the surrounding areas, so that area will remain dry. Monsoon or the rainfall will not occur. समझ में आ गया नहीं? Clear? Everybody? कोई doubt? चलो, then after. So the climate of India is called tropical monsoonal climate. Tropical monsoonal climate, right? So then after monsoon, अब monsoon है क्या? Monsoon influencing factors or the monsoon causative factors. Monsoon causative factors, origin of monsoon. So first is thermal condition on Indian subcontinent. Or over the India. Thermal condition over the India means over the India, when the land has been heated faster, what will happen? Land heated faster means northwestern part of India. Temperature is high, right? This is the summer season of northern hemisphere. Summer season of northern hemisphere, and then after over the 0 degree, this is the Tropic of Capricorn, here Tropic of Cancer, and this is the position of sun. There will be vertical rays, and there is summer of the northern hemisphere means winter of southern hemisphere, winter of southern hemisphere. If the winter in the southern hemisphere is there, the pressure क्या होगा यहाँ पर? What will be pressure here? High. So there will be high pressure zone. This entire area will have the high pressure. Low temperature, high pressure. Summer in the India, the pressure will be low. Reason for rising in the temperature. And where low? Over the Thar Desert. Right. So the heating of Thar Desert is the reason for, or this is this zone of the excessive heating. So Thar Desert act as heat engine. For origin of monsoon. Reason for more the heating of Thar Desert will be reason for more the low pressure center. Clear? More the heating of the Thar Desert will be responsible for more the low pressure. जितना ज़्यादा low pressure होगा ना, more the low pressure will be more intense low pressure. More intense low pressure is responsible for developing the intense pressure gradient force. More intense pressure is leading to the more of pressure gradient force, right? More the pressure gradient force is responsible for the movement of wind from high pressure center. Am I clear? Right? And high pressure center, the wind will reach to the low pressure areas. So then flow of the wind will be maintained. Then high pressure is here. There is a low pressure, wind has to reach there from the subtropical southern hemisphere to subtropical northern hemisphere. So wind blows in the form of which wind? Southeast trade. Yes or no? Deflecting towards the left, so because of Coriolis, they reach over the equator and they deflect to the right. क्या हो गया डायरेक्शन? साउथ ईस्ट टू साउथ वेस्ट कैसे हो गया? Why it is called south west? Wind is always known by the name, it comes from the direction, right? अभी क्या है? This is southwest. Why southwest? In the respect of India. So this hit India from the southwest direction. The wind is warm or cool? Cool. This wind is warm or cool? Warm. So wind is warm and blowing over the warm ocean, so they will absorb moisture or not. So these winds have moisture, these winds are moist, these winds are southwest wind, so these winds have the moisture. तो क्या होगा यहाँ पर? This is reaching there to the India. कहाँ जाएगा? It has to reach here only. Low pressure center, right? So monsoon, so the low pressure developed over the this peninsula plateau or the Deccan plateau is not the reason for the origin of monsoon. The low pressure which has developed excessively there in the northwest part of India, it is the zone of the center for origin of the monsoon. If this is not the low pressure center, so then wind movement will be weak. So wind will be trapped here only, right? So these winds have to go from high pressure to low pressure area. Clear? अब इसके साथ में भी यहाँ पर भी तो है Saudi Arabian desert. Here is also Iranian desert. Yes or no? Wind does not go this way, or these winds do not go this way, right? Reason for this region has been excessively heated. So there is a excess low pressure. So wind has to reach to this area, right? So that the northern part of India or the excessive heating of the northern part of India is the zone of the center of attraction of the wind from the oceans.
Sir, what is the
टिबेटन प्लेटियो को डिफरेंट है, टिबेटन प्लेटियो हैज ए डिफरेंट इफेक्ट। ओके, ये समझ में आ गया, राइट। देन आफ्टर द पोजीशन ऑफ सन, इट आल्सो हैविंग द वर्टिकल रेज ओवर द टिबेट प्लेटियो, हाइट ज्यादा है। व्हाट इज द हाइट ऑफ टिबेट प्लेटियो? इट इज अबाउट 4000 मीटर अबव द मीन सी लेवल। इट इज 4000 मीटर अबव मीन सी लेवल। अब यहां से देखो, सो देयर टिबेट प्लेटियो इज 4000 मीटर above mean sea level. There is Himalayas also, peninsula. So this is 4000 meter above mean sea level. So sun rays located over the 23.5 degree north latitude. So this is the position of sun. होगा? So Tibet plateau also will be receiving the equal heat. Tibet plateau is the largest plateau of the world. So यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? So there it is a plutonic rock. So heat absorbing capacity will be more, right? So it absorbs more heat than the surrounding areas. So the temperature is rising here. But temperature does not reach there. They are like 40 degree, 45 degree. So there is only 2 degrees Celsius temperature higher than the surrounding areas, right? So that is sufficient for heating of the Tibetan plateau. तो heat हो गया तो क्या हो जाएगा वहाँ पर? Low pressure develop हो गया, relative low pressure. So this relative low pressure center is responsible for convection. So this convection is rising air in the atmosphere. तो क्या होगा यहाँ पर? Divergence होगा. So this divergence of the wind, this goes over the Himalayas. This is called tropical easterlies. Right? Tropical easterlies. And then it subsides over there is an island in the southern hemisphere is called Mascarenes High. Mascarenes High. Mascarenes High it is creating there in the south of equator, it is high pressure zone. Wind is coming from high pressure areas in the southern hemisphere. So this is high pressure is developed because of temperature. So this area is the thermally driven high pressure center. When the wind will subside from atmosphere to surface, it will create high pressure or not? Dynamic high pressure. So this wind subsiding from atmosphere to surface, it will pressurize the wind to move away. Low pressure means convergence of winds, cyclone. High pressure means divergence of winds. This is anticyclone. Divergence of wind is anticyclone. So it will, because of this high pressure, fan को देखा हमने, ceiling fan. From the ceiling fan, wind subsides. It is touching the floor and it is spreading over in the other part of the room. So that the same happens in the atmosphere also. The wind subsiding over the surface, it pushes, so there it creates a dynamic high pressure center, and what the wind has been resting there, so it pushes away. So यहाँ पे here already high pressure center is there. So it subsiding the wind from atmosphere to surface is intensifies the high pressure areas. So then it again pushes the wind to reach towards India. Right? So it was discussed by P. Koteshwaram. Right? It was discussed by the P. Koteshwaram. In the 1951, there was MONEX, monsoon expedition by India and Russia. So they have worked on this and they found that this Tibet plateau have been actively and positively playing role in the origin of monsoon over India. Clear? समझ में आ गया? So that way monsoon has been developing due to different and several factors, right? So the thermal factor is a main key factor for the origin of the monsoon, right? Now what factors influence monsoon? देखो origin and influence different होता है, origin and difference is different. Origin and influence is different. कैसे हो गया? This is the low pressure center is responsible for channelizing the wind from the ocean to land. So the monsoon is actually is the land breeze and sea breeze phenomena. Monsoon is a land breeze and sea breeze phenomena, right? Monsoon is a land breeze and sea breeze phenomena. कैसे हो गया? See what is a land breeze? What is sea breeze?
Wind coming from sea.
Sea to land. Wind blowing from the sea to land. This wind is coming from the sea to land. Why? Land has been heated faster because of the more absorption of heat. This oceans also will absorb heat where up to 200 meters sunlight is penetrating. So this heating of the water will be relatively lesser. So this more of the heating of the land, so it will be faster, so there will be low pressure center when during the day. During the day, so the water will be heated less, so there will be relative high pressure. Wind blows from high pressure to low pressure area. So there is a movement of wind from sea to land. कब हो रहा है? Day time में. Night में, what is there in the night? So this same process reverses. For the whole day water has been heated, so it becomes warm. So this will be low pressure. The rate of the land has heated, it will be cooled faster again because of the terrestrial radiation. So there will be high pressure. Wind blows from high pressure to low pressure areas. So this is called land breeze. This is called sea breeze. Right? What is happening there? The wind is coming from ocean to land, sea to land. When? Summer season. So wind is going, when it is cooled, so wind is retreating back from land to sea, winter season. So is it not the phenomena of the land breeze, sea breeze? Yes or no? Which has been driven by differential rate of heating. The land has been heated faster and also cooled faster. So accordingly, the rate of heating will be responsible for the movement of wind. Right? ये concept दिया था Halley. This was explained by Halley. 1686. Thermal concept of origin of monsoon. That the monsoon is nothing but it is the land breeze or the extended form of land breeze and sea breeze. So Halley said the monsoon is nothing but the extended form of land breeze and sea breeze phenomena. So during the summer the wind blows from land to sea and sea to land. Clear? बताओ समझ में आ गया नहीं है? Is it clear? Right? Then after. So what factors influences the monsoon of the India is there is thermal effect, temperature on the land. If the land will be heated slow, pressure will be weak, so monsoon will not be reaching adequately over the northern part of India. So means heating or the thermal effect is one of the key factor for the influencing the monsoon, right? And also the heating of Tibet plateau heating of Tibet Plateau. So, heating of Tibet Plateau was explained first by the P. Koteshwaram, then it was discussed in the detail by the in the MONEX. MONEX is a monsoon expedition which was conducted by इसको ना P. Koteshwaram in 1951 he said P. Koteshwaram in 1951 he said the Tibet Plateau has a positive and a key role in origin of monsoon. In origin of monsoon, right? In 1971, this is 1971. He said these words in the 1951. In the 1971, the Russia and India they conducted a collaborated mission expedition in the Indian Ocean by collecting the temperature and pressure there on the different locations over the Indian Ocean. That is called MONEX. MONEX is monsoon expedition, and there they found that a pressure condition, high pressure condition has been developing on the Mascarenes High, and this source or the origin of this wind is over the Tibet Plateau. So, therefore, the Tibet Plateau has been playing a key role, an important role in the origin of monsoon, right. Another impact has been observed as the effect of El Nino. Another impact has been observed as effect of El Nino. During the normal condition, over India, in the summer of northern hemisphere, there will be low pressure center and there will be high pressure center from the Australia, and this is South America, Australia and South America. So, during the normal condition, the India will have low pressure areas and the wind blows from high pressure to low pressure as a flow of monsoon, right. Then after so, that condition, that will be high pressure here, means temperature is high, there is a movement of wind towards the north. Here is Africa, this is India, I am making that is the small rough maps, Australia and South America. Right. El Nino is the warm water flow which originates. Normal condition mein what happens? There is a cold current blowing. This is called Peruvian current. It moves to the west, and this has been responsible for increasing the temperature over the coast of Australia. That is responsible for increasing the water level over the coast of Australia and the good precipitation in normal condition. Here El Nino originates over the coast of Peru, over the coast of Peru. Here in the normal condition there will be high pressure, right, but with the El Nino their pressure reverses to low, right, pressure reverses to low, because the El Nino is a warm water flow. Temperature of the water is more, or it increases the temperature of the ocean. So, the pressure will be reversed to the low. Higher the temperature, pressure is low. Because of global warming is the effect because of the counter equatorial current, right. So, that the temperature of this part of the ocean has been increased, so that the whole system of the ocean changes. Like there is a movement of wind here, it will also change the pattern of the trade wind. Trade wind pattern kya hai? So, the trade wind pattern is moving from the southeast to west, and also because of this warm water flow there is a movement of the wind towards the coast of South America. So, here their warm water has been responsible for rising and convection process. So, this precipitate here. So, this is responsible for flood in the Peru, right. Normal condition, what is happening? There is a dry condition and drought. Atacama desert, world's driest desert, where the rainfall occurs 17-16 years once in this period. So, driest desert of the world. There, because of this convection process, there is a flood. The whole mechanism changes. Then after this warm water flow, water extends towards the east by the re-establishment of the movement of the trade winds. So, there is a gap between the New Papua Guinea island and Australia. This is called the Arafura Sea, Torres Strait, and this warm water enters in the Indian Ocean. When it is happening, all this phenomena in the month of December, right. So, this 2023, this monsoon, this El Nino has been more in the news. Reason for, there was indication of or the sign of origin of El Nino, right. So, this El Nino originate in the month and the week of the December, and it has been confirmed by January whether El Nino will occur or not, on the basis of observing sea surface temperature of East Pacific Ocean, right. So, then the first prediction of monsoon comes in the month of January, right. So, when if El Nino has originated or occurred or not, clear all. So, then if El Nino has occurred, so the warning signs has been released and shared with the different countries of the Pacific and the Indian Ocean, that this year will be a El Nino year, as it was done in India in the month of March, right. But that time it was the very mild El Nino was there, right. Then when the El Nino comes in the Indian Ocean, so this is the month of December, is the time of summer of the southern hemisphere and winter of northern hemisphere, right. So, that during that time, so this ocean will be warm or cool, it will be warm. So, there will be low pressure center, warm. So, the impact of El Nino is when there will be summer, there will be May and June in the month of summer. So, this whole area will have the low pressure center, right. Low pressure center, low pressure means it will attract the wind on the surrounding areas from high pressure zones. What is the source of the Indian monsoon? What is the source of Indian monsoon? This high pressure center only. Monsoon wind only move towards the equator as southeast wind and then to the southwest. So, this is only the source of the monsoon wind when it is high pressure, right. But what is happening here? In the month of December, the sea is warm, and by the month of April, the El Nino warm water, it enters in the Indian Ocean in the month of April. क्या होगा फिर? Then in the month of April and 23rd March is the day of equinox. So sun's position is on the equator and then it shift over the northern hemisphere, Tropic of Capricorn, sorry, Tropic of Cancer. So gradually this area will be converting or transforming into the high pressure, right? But because of arrival of El Nino, this low pressure center has been maintained for long period because it is a warm water flow. The pre-existing high temperature, low pressure has been extended by the more of the arrival of warm water. Clear ho gaya? Now in India is low pressure, here is also low pressure. Yes or no? So that similarity in the ocean will prevail or not? Then there in this condition there was high pressure, then wind was moving to India. Now this pressure has not converted to the high. How the wind will blow? Right? So then monsoon will become weak. Right? So wind will not depart from the southern Indian Ocean to the India. Will there be effect on the monsoon? Will there be effect on the monsoon? Yes. Reason for, when timely departure of wind does not start from the Indian Ocean, so monsoon winds will not reach on time on the Indian Ocean in the India. Reason for, because this should have converted into or transformed into high pressure center in its due time by the month of April. But arrival of the El Nino in the month of end of March and April, it has further maintained the low pressure and the high temperature in the Indian Ocean. So that will delay the transformation from low pressure to the high pressure. Clear or not? When the pressure has been maintained low, temperature has been maintained high, then there will be effect on the delay in the monsoon. So the monsoon will become weak or not? बोलो जल्दी से. Monsoon weak होगा नहीं होगा? So that impact of the El Nino on the Indian monsoon is always adverse. So El Nino is negatively affecting monsoon. Am I clear? El Nino is adversely affecting monsoon by rising temperature of Indian Ocean, right? By rising temperature of the Indian Ocean. So that is delay in the departure of monsoon wind. What monsoon wind? What monsoon wind? Southeast trade. So there will be delay in the departure of monsoon wind, there will be delay in the arrival of monsoon in India, right?
It is good for Peruvian coast.
It is also adverse for the Peruvian coast. Reason for, when it was cold condition, so that area was up, this cold current is because of the upwelling current. This is upwelling current when the sea water is upwelling on the coastal areas or the sea surface. So whatever the skeletons of the dead animals are there, so this is reaching there on the sea surface. Phytoplanktons have been supplied there on the sea surface. Phytoplanktons are the source, are the food for microfishes or the small fishes, and small fishes are the food for the large fishes. So this is one of the largest fishing ground of the world. Economy of the Peru is dependent on the fishing because this also has a desert. So this area, west part of the South America, coast of Peru and Chile, it is one of the largest fishing ground of the world in the normal condition when this cold current is blowing. So their economy is based on fishing. अब यहाँ क्या हो गया? बारिश हो गया यहाँ पर. So there is a rain because of low pressure area, and rain is also responsible for the flooding. So because of low pressure area, the phytoplanktons will be destroyed due to the cyclonic condition, or they will be dispersed because of cyclonic condition. Am I clear? So, that will create an adverse impact on the economy of Peru, right.
So
So,
one warm and one cold current are meeting at Peruvian coast.
the cold in the normal condition, cold Humboldt or Peruvian current is blowing, right. That cold current is upwelling current, that is a cold, right. When it has been suppressed or shifted this to the down, and the sea surface has been occupied by the warm water. So, that is El Nino, means effect of the cold has been reduced because of pushing of the cold current down, and this whole area has been occupied by the warm water flow. That is El Nino. When the warm water has been occupied on the sea surface, temperature of the sea water will increase or decrease? Increase. Warm water has occupied the area of the sea surface, so the temperature will increase. Pressure decrease. So, decreasing the pressure is responsible for the cyclogenesis. So, it will attract the wind from the surrounding areas. So, that will converge and rise, convection process. So, convection process in the coastal areas over the warm sea will be rainfall, convectional rain. So, that convectional rain is sufficient for the sufficient for the flood there in the Peru. Why flood? Because that part of the extension of the desert, and desert has a very poor drainage. Rajasthan में flood आता है, is that Rajasthan has flood? Very less rainfall even occur in the Rajasthan, and that has been flooded. But that flood is not destructive. Flood in Rajasthan is not destructive. Reason for? Because of desert areas. That there is a sand is coarser. So, within the 2 days water percolates down into the subsurface. It is not flowing over the larger area. Reason for? There is no drainage. Rainfall occurs and get accumulated over an area, and then after 2 days this goes into the subsurface. So, this desert flood is not destructive, right. So, here but the flood in the Peru is responsible for reducing the fishing catch or the fishing there in the coast of the Peru, right. So, therefore, it is adverse impact on the Peru, right. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा इंडिया में? Arrival of the warm water flow in the Indian Ocean is delaying the departure of the monsoon wind, and if the monsoon wind departs, they reach there over India, then there will be weak monsoon because they are reaching late. Monsoon will be weak. Then by the time they reach there over India, so this is the time of departure of the monsoon. They reach late, so they precipitate less, and there is a time for departure of the monsoon wind back to the southern hemisphere. So, that period of monsoon or the period of rainfall reduces, that is not sufficient for meeting the demand of the monsoon in India, because economy or completely this whole structure of our economic system is dependent on the monsoon. So, when monsoon has been affected, then the other subsidiary areas or secondary areas shall be affected adversely, like agriculture, right. So, there is agriculture will be affected, right. Then after their industries will be affected. Some of the industries are based on agriculture produce, agro based industries will be affected. So, when the produce is not coming from the agriculture sector, so the industries will be collapsing. So, that produce is not coming because of failure of the rainfall. Then after there the hydel power generation also will be affected, energy will be affected. So, energy affected, then how the industries will be running. So, operation and the function of the industry also will be affected, right. So, monsoon also has been there or confined to the culture and the customs of the people. When monsoon arrives, there is the celebration for the people, particularly for the farmers. Baisakhi is there, right. So, there is a sowing period of the crop starts. So, that particular kharif crop will be affected, right. Then after there is this whole mechanism of the monsoon has been disturbed by the external factors. Also in 2022, it has been observed with a massive effect of heat waves on the monsoon. right. On the monsoon there has been the massive effect of heat wave. अब इसमें क्या हुआ देखो 2022 there was a massive heat wave over the southern India. Heat wave is responsible for increasing temperature. Pressure will decrease or not. So, excessive pressure when it will decrease, then what will happen? Rainfall will be high or low? Certainly it will high. So, that low pressure area will attract the more winds. So, it will also increase the intensity of rainfall. So, there in the last year there has been a surplus rain over the entire Deccan Plateau. This area has a surplus rain in the year 2022. So, there was a massive rain. There has been the flood in Hyderabad last year. There has been flood in the Bengaluru last year. There also has been flood in Karnataka, other areas of Karnataka, Maharashtra also. Reason for the monsoon winds stuck there over Deccan Plateau under the effect of the prevailing heat waves, right. तो इससे क्या हुआ? Then there has been delay in the monsoon in the northern India, right. So the date of arrival of the monsoon in Delhi, it is about 29th June. Monsoon reached 10 to 12 days late. So the monsoon last year reached there in the northern India about 12 to 15th July. Delay in the monsoon, right. But when it has reached, northern India also came under the effect of heat waves. So this heat wave was blowing towards the north, right, and when it was blowing towards the north, so it also creating the excessive low pressure in the north. When the low pressure has been created excessively, so certainly it will also bring the winds. Then after, entire northern India came under the effect of the rainfall more than the average. Last year monsoon was 10% surplus, even though that was a late arrival, right. उससे क्या हुआ? Last year then it was the more of the rainfall in India, northern part of India, and also this heat wave extended towards the west in Pakistan also, right. First many people died because of heat waves. Then after there was excessive flood in the Pakistan last year in 2022, Pakistan was completely and destroyed by the flood. अब देखना न्यूज़ में massive flood, the people had never experienced such a flood there in the Indus River. Northern Pakistan was completely destroyed, southern Pakistan was destroyed because of again the effect of the heat wave. So in India, northern part of India, there has been a delayed in the rain of the monsoon, and also there has been a surplus rain because of the heat wave. Then after what happened, their monsoon had the departure of monsoon from the northern part of India, it starts about the 20th September. The monsoon is active over the India up to the 20th September. So that starts departing from the 20th September, the rainfall or the wind move back to the southern hemisphere, right. Then in the 2022, 5th to 10th October, it was raining. 5th to 10th October, it was raining in the northern India. Is it not the effect of heat wave? So heat wave has influenced the mechanism of monsoon or the rainfall pattern in India, right. Up to 23 में क्या हुआ देखो, 23 the heat wave effect over the India is lesser comparatively, but heat wave in the Europe, which has been very massive, it has been continuously supplying the moisture in the atmospheric wind, and which has been moving towards India. It has carried the moisture which is precipitating entirely there in the northern India. कहाँ पर हो रहा है? हिमाचल प्रदेश, उत्तराखंड, Kashmir region. So last year, because of this effect, there was or surplus rainfall. There was in the month of July to August. From the month of July to August, there was 102 incidents of landslides in 1 month only in 2022, in the year 2022. From June to July, there has been 350 cases of landslide in the year 2023, and rainfall intensity is very high, right? इसके दो reason है. There are the two reasons for that. One, the heat wave effect in the Europe has influenced the moisture carrying wind in the upper atmosphere. They have been excessive or surplus, which are precipitating in the India because of obstruction by the Himalayan ranges, right. So, excessive moisture has been supplied by the external factor which is carrying from the Mediterranean Sea, and then it is precipitating in the India. Abhi last week also there was rainfall in Greece, flood in the Greece. It was flood in Turkey. It was flood in Spain. All are the northern Mediterranean Sea only. They all have been carrying the moisture and been precipitating over the India, obstruction by the Himalayas. Clear? Now then, after in India, what has happened in the year 2023? If you remember this, the month of June. In month of June, there has been excessive low pressure over the Arabian Sea, right? Because of low pressure, the wind has all converged towards the low pressure center. Low pressure means, what does it mean, the low pressure? Depression. Depression means cyclone. Low pressure means cyclone, depression. So, this cyclone means the wind, all the wind will converge over the low pressure area, right. So, then the wind has converged here. So, it took the shape of cyclone, right. When it entered in India, the wind velocity was 150 km per hour, and it enters from the western part of Rajasthan, Gujarat, from the Kutch region, and from the Rajasthan, western part of Rajasthan, it has entered into the India, northern part of India, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, right. But here, this whole area, there has been delayed monsoon, right. So, this cyclonic effect has changed the complete monsoon pattern in the year 2023. Reason for the wind which would have moved towards the India, they have diverted towards the North India from the different channel. So, this Rajasthan has received the excessive rain, Gujarat which remains usually dry has received the excessive rain, and also this whole wind pattern has entered in the northern states, that is Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, and Himachal Pradesh this year has received the excessive rainfall and the more number of cases of the landslides because of many cases of the cloud burst. That wind which has entered from the western part of India, right. Otherwise, what is the pattern of the rainfall? Dekho. Otherwise, this is the area which has been obstructed by the monsoon wind obstructed by Western Ghat. So, their rainfall occurs and this winds enters in the Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, right. So, when winds are coming from this channel, there is a high rainfall south, high rainfall, 300 centimeter Kerala, 250 centimeter Karnataka, 200 centimeter Maharashtra, then 75 centimeter in the Rajasthan, and there is also 75 centimeter in Madhya Pradesh, and then rest comes to the Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. Means amount of moisture has been adequately or has been sequentially decreased. So, that has not been influencing there in the states, Himalayan states. So, that is moderate rainfall, balanced. But here, because of this pressure, it has more supplied the wind with the greater velocity which has entered in the India and also has disturbed this entire section or the entire region for the monsoon, right. Reason kya hua iska? Kerala receives rainfall or the monsoon reaches there in the Kerala by the 5th June, maximum to the 5th June. Monsoon reached here on 10th June, right. Mumbai receives rainfall in the on the 25th June. No, Mumbai receives rainfall in the about their 10 to 12th June. Monsoon reached there in the Mumbai on the 25th June, 15 days delay. right. But here the Delhi monsoon date is 29th June. The date by the IMD is declared that Delhi monsoon arrival date is 29th June. Delhi started rain on the 25th June itself. This was early arrival of monsoon. This whole area has deficit monsoon. This from the month of June to July, this maximum rainfall has occurred. 31st August को IMD has announced. 31st August, IMD announced that August month's rainfall is 10% deficit. No rainfall has occurred in the month of August. In the last month, the most of the days, there has been the maximum of the dryness prevailed. Why? Maximum rainfall occurred in the month of June and July because of this cyclone, Biparjoy. So this cyclone has changed the pattern of the monsoon. So it is also the reason for the change in the monsoon factor or the monsoon flow or mechanism. समझ में आ गया? So that cyclonic effect is developing. अच्छा ये क्यों हुआ है देखो? This cyclone is not very normal, or it is not the normal cycle of the monsoon system. It is abnormal condition. In summer season, such a strong cyclone does not develop in the Arabian Sea, never. But it is exceptionally developed because of excessive rise of temperature of the ocean in the Arabian Sea. So this is also the impact of global warming. So climate change. So rise in the temperature of the oceans has been changing the mechanism of monsoon. This is called marine heat wave. This is marine heat wave. Marine heat wave is excessive rise of temperature of the ocean is changing the pattern of monsoon system. Okay, changing the pattern of monsoon system. Clear हो गया? Right. So that condition where the heating of oceans are becoming excessive, and this heating of the oceans are making this more of rise of temperature of the oceans, and this more of rise of temperature of the oceans are responsible for the untimely or unpredictable cyclonic storms, which are destructive and more of furious. Clear? So that this whole region, this year 2023, there has been the change in the mechanism of the monsoon. Am I clear? Right. So this way, these factors has been modifying the monsoon pattern. In future, what the mechanism or what the changes will take place, we do not know. What area will become more effective, what area will become weaker, so that will certainly affect the monsoon. Clear हो गया? So this Deccan Plateau this year has been under the deficit rain. The month of August has a lesser rainfall, right? And when this whole area has been heated, this August month no rain. Now September is also crossed almost, so rainfall also has been weaker in this month, right? Relatively lesser, it is weaker, so that relatively lesser, so that in these areas, so there has been the negative impact on the monsoon because of only factor is cyclone. Clear? Then after the rainfall pattern in India. So, rainfall pattern in India. So, on the basis of orographic extension, there is Western Ghat, there are some gaps in the Western Ghat, there is Southern Hill Complex, then after Eastern Ghat, Satpura Range, Vindhyan Range, Aravalis, here is Chota Nagpur Plateau, Mizo Hills, Tripura Hills, Manipur, Naga Hills, Patkai, then there is Himalayas, this is also Himalayas. So, these areas or these zones have been controlling the rainfall pattern in the India, or the relief has been controlling the rainfall pattern in India. Right? How? When the monsoon winds reach there over India as southwest monsoon wind, I am discussing the normal or average monsoon pattern mechanism or rainfall pattern, right? Average rainfall pattern. When the monsoon reaches there in the coast of Kerala, so this is called onset of monsoon or landfall of monsoon, right? Landfall of monsoon. So, in that condition, so there is a bifurcation of wind into two branches. So, there Kerala receives rainfall about 300 centimeter, or Malabar coast over the Kerala receives rainfall about 300 centimeter by the obstruction from Western Ghat. So, Western Ghat is an orographic barrier for the monsoon, southwest wind, and there are the two gaps, one is called Shankota gap, another is called the Palghat gap. So, monsoon wind enters from the Shankota gap, this is Shankota gap. So, Shankota gap connects Trivandrum to Madurai, right, and Madurai is in Tamil Nadu. Wind entering from the Shankota gap, this precipitate in the on the Cardamom Hill, right, Pachamalai Hills, okay, and wind enters from the Palghat gap, it precipitate over the Nilgiri Hills, right. So, this part of the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu starts receiving the rain from the gap or where the gap winds entering from. Then the wind also reaches there in the north. So, Karnataka and Goa receives 250 centimeter rain. There is Palghat gap, the wind enters in the Palghat and wind enters over the Deccan Plateau, Deccan lava plateau. Mumbai receives rain about 200 centimeter, and there is Nasik in the leeward side, Nasik, and there is Pune. So, Nasik and Pune receives there about 80 to 100 centimeter rain because they are on the leeward side. Mumbai is on the windward side, and then Nasik, this is here location of Mumbai. So, winds are reaching and they are rising against the western Ghats, and there is precipitation occurs. So, it is 200 centimeter, wind becomes dry and descends. So, there is adiabatic heating of the wind. So, there is Pune and Nasik. So, there is 80 to 100 centimeter rainfall because of leeward position. This is called the windward location, this is called leeward location. Leeward side of the mountain. So, leeward side of the mountain, there is a gradual decrease of the rain over the slope of mountain, declining slope of mountain. There will be rise of the rainfall on the ascending or the climbing slope of the mountains. So, as the wind will rise, it will become condensed and precipitate, again it will rise, again condense and precipitate. So, there is more of the rising of the air. So, there will be more of rainfall. So, therefore, Mumbai receives 200 centimeter rain and Nasik and Pune receives 80 to 100 centimeter, right. Then again the wind enters there in Deccan Plateau. So, here eastern Maharashtra receives rainfall about 60 centimeter. So, there is a decrease of rainfall over the Deccan Plateau west to east. Over the Deccan Plateau, there is decrease of rainfall from west to east, right. So, इसी mechanism से कई बार क्वेश्चन पूछा है, the rainfall decreases from the south to north over the west coast of India. Yes or no? Correct है नहीं है? Rainfall decreases from south to north. Malabar coast 300 centimeter, Mumbai 200 centimeter. Over the west coast of India there is a decrease of the rainfall, right? तो इसी तरीके से Deccan Plateau पे भी पूछ सकते हैं आपको. Then after the wind, this winds enters in the Tapi Valley and it strikes here, this Tapi Valley, and it strikes over the Maikal range. So, there is a rainfall in the Tapi Valley and also wind enters in the Narmada Valley and it hits over the Amarkantak hills. So, there is a origin of the river Narmada, right. So, river Narmada, or in the valley of river Narmada there is a rainfall about 150 centimeter rain. In Narmada Rift Valley, which hits to the Amarkantak Plateau, their rainfall is about 150 centimeter, right. So, which type of rain is this? Which type of rain is occurring there in the Malabar coast? It is orographic. So, Western Ghat is acting as orographic barrier. So, Western Ghat is acting as a orographic barrier. If suppose there was no Western Ghat, what could have been the climate of the India or the Deccan Plateau or the coastal areas? If there was no Western Ghat, then the whole wind would have travelled over the Deccan Plateau and would have entered in the East Asia and will strike to the directly to the northeast hills. There was no obstruction, right. So, what is the height of Western Ghat? In the south there is about the 900 meter, in the north is 600 meter. So, it is not much higher hills, right. So, in spite of that they are obstructing the monsoon winds, right or not. So, means we can imagine the monsoon winds which are carrying moisture, it is so heavy load of moisture, and so that so heavy load of moisture. So, winds these moisture, the winds are not capable to hold there in the atmosphere, so that these winds are blowing on the surface or near the surface, right. So, can we call this monsoon winds as superficial winds? Yes or no? So, these monsoon winds are superficial winds, clear. Then after the monsoon winds, they are enters in the, or it blows parallel to the Aravalli, where it is 75 centimeter rainfall occurs and it enters in the Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand from the south to north, clear. So, this area, this Aravalli is acting as a climatic barrier, where it obstructs the monsoon wind to enter in the western part of Rajasthan. So, western part of Rajasthan is receiving very less precipitation. So, this is only 20 centimeter. Average annual rainfall in the western Rajasthan in Jaisalmer and Bikaner district is only 20 centimeter, right. Then after it enters in the Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, there it precipitates. So, in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, there in the mountains, this is Great Himalayas, slope is steeper, this is Middle Himalayas, and this is here Shivalik. So, in this Shivalik we have relatively wide valleys. We have relatively wide valleys. So, in the valleys when the monsoon winds enter, they have been obstructed by the middle Himalayas, and also there are the gaps in the middle Himalayas. So, the wind further rises up and then enter there in the gap of or in the valley between Great Himalaya and Middle Himalayas. So, reaching over that height and they are further moving to the north, this has been obstructed by the Great Himalayas, which is very, very high. क्या करेगा ये? So, when these winds are reaching and obstructed by the Great Himalayas, this is standing like a wall. When this winds reaches there in the Great Himalaya, it has been obstructed. Then they do not have any other way to move further to the north. They start returning back. When they start returning back, they become more denser, and they are again obstructed by Middle Himalayas. So, because they become denser and they have been trapped into the valleys between Great Himalaya and Middle Himalaya. Now, they do not find the way out to the Himalayas or from the Himalayas. So, they have dense moisture. So, they start precipitating. क्या होगा? They start hitting the mountain, hills and the slopes. क्या होगा फिर? Then there is a cloud burst. So, cloud burst phenomena we usually find there in the valley areas of Middle Himalayas and Great Himalayas. Kedarnath disaster, Badrinath disaster, the disaster in the Uttarakhand. These are all happening majorly on the northern slope of the Middle Himalayas, where the monsoon winds have been trapped because of there are no way out for the monsoon winds, and then also they become excessively condensed and dense. So, they start precipitating heavily and then their cloudburst situation occurs. Am I clear? समझ में आ गया? So, more of the cases of the cloudburst are observed there in the Middle Himalayas, northern slope of Middle Himalayas. Clear? Right? So, that way there is a cases of, because of these conditions there are landslides. 350 cases of landslides in 2023 from the period of June to July. Right. So, why landslides are there in the Himalayas? Number one is cloud burst. Number two, excessive deforestation. Number three is infrastructure development. Number four, unplanned urbanization. Unplanned urbanization, right? Then after there is rise in population. Number 6 is the demand for agricultural land, right? Then after construction of dams. Therefore, there are the cases of landslides are more, and also earthquakes. Right? So, these cases of the landslides have been observed more in the Himalayan states. Clear हो गया? हाँ.
We can see that the rainfall is falling due to orographic or the relief features.
हाँ.
That means that monsoon rainfall in India is just because of the monsoon and the relief features.
हाँ.
What led monsoon to have a rainfall in the plains areas or the plateau areas?
हाँ, वो भी बताता हूँ, वो भी आएगा डिस्कशन में.
And sir, Thar desert is the heat engine over there. The winds are attracted by that, reaching there. What led winds to enter into the Himalayas mountain regions?
हाँ, तो उसमें this Aravalli region, Aravalli range is a major barrier for not reaching the wind to the Rajasthan. So Aravalli is called a climatic divide. Western part of Aravalli is arid. Why? Monsoon winds are not reaching there, right? And Aravalli and the winds are parallel to the Aravallis, and then straight to the Aravalli these are reaching to the north. So Aravalli is ultimately a barrier for the monsoon winds, right? So this is west of the Aravalli is arid, east of Aravalli is semi-arid region. So this, if Aravalli was in the west to east extension, then the southern part of the Aravalli would have received the adequate or the abundant rain. Northern part of Aravalli, the Punjab plain, Haryana plain would have completely desert, right?
We can say that the direction of the wind, as per the Aravallis, it's traveling along the Aravallis. So nothing, no features was there in between to deflect them. Then if they try.
Aravalli is a barrier. Simply, Aravalli is a barrier for the monsoon wind to reach in the western part of Rajasthan. What is the extension of Aravalli? It is southwest to northeast. This is southwest to northeast. When the winds are coming here, they are striking and then splitting there to the east. Very less winds are reaching there to the Aravalli, right? So that the rainfall is only 20 centimeter. These winds are parallel to the Aravalli, they are going to the straight to the Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. There is no further barrier for it, for the monsoon. Then they are going for to the state, right? Now then after this is the branch of Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal branch runs parallel to the Coromandel coast, and then after it gains moisture again from the Arakan Yoma, and this deflect to the east and it enters in the northeastern hills of the India. So there is 250 centimeter rainfall in the northeastern hills, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, 250 centimeter rainfall. These monsoon winds enter in the Meghalaya plateau, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. World's highest rainfall has been recorded here, and also this is the rainfall there on the Kolkata. Rainfall is 200 centimeter. Now here the question is, there is no orographic barrier here. In the Kolkata, that is there exactly on the coast. Rainfall, what type of the rainfall occurs there? This is land is heated. It is near the Tropic of Cancer. When land is heated, what will happen? Heating is low pressure. What will happen? Convection. So here is entirely Gangetic plain and the northwest part of India, Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh and the Gangetic plain all have convectional rain, right? This enters in the West Bengal, again it hits to the Himalayas. So Himalaya is again is a orographic barrier for the monsoon, right? They have asked question in the prelims, if there was no Himalaya, what could have been the climate of India or the northern plains? So then it could have been absolutely dry and desert. So Himalayan, this monsoon wind would have travelled here and to reach to the Tibet plateau. So Himalaya is acting a orographic barrier. So Himalaya, the winds reaching there in the south of Himalaya, again it is bifurcated into two branches. One goes to the Assam in the east and this goes to the Gangetic plain. So that way the Gangetic plain is receiving the rain. Here in Patna 150 centimeter, 100 centimeter in the Banaras and Allahabad, then after 75 centimeter in the Aligarh and the Agra, 50 centimeter, 50 to 75 centimeter in the Delhi and the 50 centimeter there in Punjab and Haryana, right? And Assam receives rainfall about 200 centimeter, two sides, right? It is receiving rainfall from the two branches, one from the west, one from the south, right? So there is excessive rainfall in the Assam valley, right? So this was a question in the prelims, that the rainfall decreases from the south to north, yes or no? Rainfall decreases from the east to west over the Gangetic plain. Is it there? 200 centimeter in the over Kolkata, 150 Patna, 100 in the Banaras and 75 in Agra and Aligarh, 50 centimeter in the Punjab. Right. So, it is a decreasing trend of the rainfall there from the east to west over the Gangetic plain, correct or not? So, can we say that the rainfall is decreasing from the south to north also? Can we say the rainfall decreases from the east to west also? Clear? समझ में आ गया? So, then where we will find the more of variation in the rainfall? More variation in the rainfall. Variation means variation in rainfall over the India. Where we will find the variation in the rainfall? Variation मतलब क्या होता है? What does it mean, the variation? It means deflection from average rainfall. Deflection from the average rainfall means if the average rainfall is of any area is 100 centimeter, it can be more than 100 centimeter to 200 centimeter, less than to the 100 centimeter is about 20 centimeter, plus minus 5 is acceptable, 5% is acceptable because of minor change, but major change is the variation, right. So, that we will find, do we see this any of the change there in the or the much of the change in the northeastern states in the rainfall amount? 200, if it is 250, so the rainfall may also occur at the 200 centimeter, 230 centimeter, so that will not be much change. We do not see the much of the change there in the southern India, 300 centimeter may occur and also there 250 centimeter may also occur, right. So, that variation is lesser, but we see more of the variation there in the northern plain. More of the variation is there in the western part of the India, northwest part of India, Rajasthan, Punjab and Haryana. So, the rainfall is 50 centimeter and sometimes the excessive rainfall occurs, sometimes the no rainfall occurs. Means more the distance from the sea, from the coast, the more the variation in the precipitation or the rainfall will occur. समझ में आ गया? More the close to the coastal areas, so the variation will be lesser, right? Because the winds which have been traveling there over the plain areas or the northwest part of India, they will have certainly a lesser amount of rainfall. Can we say 2023 has been the year of the large variation in the rainfall over the Rajasthan? Yes or no? That is positive variation. Rainfall was supposed to happen to the 20 centimeter, but it has been 80 to 100 centimeter rainfall because of cyclone. Got it or not? So, it was supposed to be low, but it has happened the high rainfall. Clear? So, this large variation has happened. Clear ho gaya nahi hua? Right? This is the phenomenon of the summer season. Clear? Then after, in the month of by the month of September, so this October, this area starts cooling. High pressure means low pressure is convergence of wind, means there is a cyclonic condition, and the high pressure means outward movement of wind, this is anticyclone, right. So, this anticyclone means the wind of the monsoon which has arrived there in the northwestern part of India. So, they will start moving away. So, there will be outward movement of wind because of cooling of the surface, तो ये क्या हो गया? दिस इज retreat of monsoon or returning of monsoon, reaching there on the West Bengal, and then with these winds gains moisture from the West Bengal. Which wind were there in the northwest part of India? Monsoon winds, they were warm, and because of this in the month of October, so there is a, for the period of 1 month there is a bright sun. So that period is called reheating of northern part of India. So reheating of northern part of India is responsible for developing the warm air mass. So this is actually is a warm air. It is not excessively warm, this is relatively warm, and also not the cool. So this is warm air. So by that time the wind, this ocean part also has become warm, this whole ocean part has become warm. The warm air blowing over the warm oceans, क्या होगा? They will gain moisture, so they precipitate along over the Coromandel coast. So Coromandel coast receives rain from the returning monsoon. This is returning monsoon or retreating monsoon. अब ये बताओ, what now tell me why this in the winter season it is calling the monsoon? What is the direction of wind? What is direction of wind? Northeast only. So this is also called the northeast monsoon or northeast monsoon. Now you tell me why this in the winter season is called the monsoon? Why in the winter season is called the monsoon? This rainfall in the rainfall which is causing there in the Coromandel coast, why it is called the this northeast monsoon? बोलो बोलो, पढ़ा है बुक में से कई बार. What is there? Why it is called northeast monsoon? हाँ तो wind का हो गया ना वो तो. Why it is monsoon then? No, not India. We can call this is from the north also. The wind is called the northeast because in the reference of the location of Coromandel coast. They are reaching over the Coromandel coast from the northeast direction. It is called the southwest because it is the winds are reaching from the southwest direction in the reference to the location of India. Right? I means में question है ना पूर्वैया. The Purvaiya easterlies for Bihar or this Bhojpur region. This is monsoon only, southwest monsoon only. It is entering in the Bihar from the eastern direction. This wind only by splitting from or hitting the southern hills of Himalayas. It is deflecting to the west or deflecting to the east, west, deflecting to the west or this turning to the west. Right, over the Gangetic plain. What is the state here? Bihar. So for Bihar it is eastern direction. Yes or no? So the direction of the wind always in the reference of the location. Must remember. This is the location of the Coromandel coast. So wind is coming from the northeast direction in the reference of the location of Coromandel coast. Therefore it is called the northeast wind. Why monsoon? What is this monsoon effect is there? This is southwest monsoon, it is coming from the southwest direction. Why this is the monsoon? पढ़ा book में नहीं? Have you read in the book?
These are the monsoon winds which are returning back because of shift of ITC there.
Okay, but there the monsoon winds are the moisture what they have already precipitated. All the moisture they have already precipitated in the summer month. Okay, but then what we can call the monsoon?
Because they are the continuation of monsoon.
Because they have moisture. monsoon winds are those winds which are carrying the moisture. If they do not have moisture, they are simple ordinary winds. These winds are also carrying the moisture. Up till the India, they are not called the monsoon. They are the simple returning winds, simple returning monsoon winds, which they reach there over India. See, when they are reaching there over the India, northern India, so whatever the atmospheric condition is prevailing, what the moisture they are carrying, they are all have precipitated in here. They are becoming dry or not? Now they are dry wind. This land has been heated in the month of October. They are absolutely dry and warm, returning back under the effect of the high pressure condition formed here. So these winds which are there over the northwest part of India has been made to push away. Why? Cooling effect, anticyclone. So these winds have been warm and now it has been pushed away from the northwest part of India because this area has been cooled. When this is warm wind have been pushed away and they are reached there on the Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal is already heated from the month of April. Sun's position is the month of April is over the tropic of this on the equator, then the June tropic of Cancer. Then by that month there is a heating of the Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and this Bay of Bengal is heated. Warm wind blowing over the warm sea, क्या होगा? Moisture लेगा नहीं लेगा? It will gain moisture. Because of Coriolis, again it is deflecting to the right, and this is hitting directly to the Coromandel coast. So these winds are the moisture laden winds. These winds have moisture, then only they are precipitating, which have absorbed from the Bay of Bengal. Clear? So monsoon means what? Monsoon winds means what? They have moisture. If they do not have moisture, then they will be an ordinary wind which blows anywhere there over the world. Right? So this is monsoon or the northeast monsoon wind. Does Tamil Nadu receive rainfall during the southwest monsoon or from the southwest monsoon? Huh? Does Tamil Nadu receive rainfall from the southwest monsoon? Huh? होता नहीं. In Tamil Nadu, no rain from the southwest monsoon. यही पकड़े जाओ. You will be caught here.
Sir, in initial phase it does not receive rainfall, but when
Does rainfall, listen again, does Tamil Nadu receive rainfall from the southwest monsoon or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me, who says no? Raise your hand. No, no. Who says yes? It receives. Why it receives? How it receives?
should, just as other states are receiving.
Then why does it not receive?
southwest monsoon eastern Ghats are parallel to Tamil Nadu, so they usually passes and they do not fall any kind of orographic rainfall.
Yes. What is your name? It is straight, parallel to the coast. There only you will be caught and make the wrong mark. What I have said, from the Shankota gap, from the Palghat gap, the winds entering or not, where they are precipitating? Madurai, Nilgiri hills. Madurai is a part of Tamil Nadu. Coimbatore, Palani hills, where they how they are cultivating this crop. Achha, what amount of rainfall here? This is only 80 to 100 centimeter. But this central part of this western part of Tamil Nadu, they are receiving the rainfall about 250 centimeters. They are cultivating the tea, rubber. What is the amount of rubber and tea? This requires at least a 250 centimeter rain. So this how they are receiving rain, and how is it possible? Until they receive the rain, that amount, this cultivation is not possible. Right? ये book में नहीं लिखा है ये कहीं पर भी. There the wind entering from the Shankota gap, the wind entering from the Palghat gap. So this Tamil Nadu, this Madurai hills, Nilgiri hills, Palani hills, and then Pachamalai hills. These Annamalai hills, they are receiving the rain and they are cultivating the tea. Means western part of Tamil Nadu receives rain from the southwest monsoon. The Coromandel coast receives the rain from the northeast monsoon because southwest monsoon wind are parallel to the Coromandel coast.
But there was previously a question, and
Huh.
the question was during the period
What was the question?
during the period of southwest monsoon,
हाँ
that's why it is, and it was very dry. The UPSC said get it dry.
हाँ ठीक है
So
ठीक
that's
है
why
उस
it's almost dry.
हाँ
So
so they have not given other options ना
they were very clear that the
that is
Tamil
why
Nadu does not receive any rainfall.
that is why but here when the option is there right so western part of Tamil Nadu has been receiving rain right where the wind entering in the Sankota gap and the Palghat gap समझ में आ गया the Coromandel coast क्वेश्चन क्या दिखाओ मेरे को during the period of southwest monsoon Tamil Nadu remains almost dry completely dry नहीं है almost right dry because right eastern Ghat and Tamil Nadu coast are almost parallel to the direction of southwest monsoon wind ठीक है it lies in the rain shadow areas of the western Ghat ये तो है ही नहीं where rain shadow area of the western Ghat this is not the option tropical cyclone disturb the pattern of the southwest monsoon it is not there right so this only two ही रह गया तो okay so that this area western part of Tamil Nadu is receiving rain and the Coromandel coast of Tamil Nadu is receiving the rain in the winter season clear हो गया so when it comes these winds are warm and also with the shift of ITCZ from this mechanism the shift of ITCZ by that time there is also the shift of ITCZ over the Bay of Bengal which is the low pressure zone and is a convergence of wind is responsible for developing the cyclonic condition right so there the convergence of wind is responsible for the movement of wind there and this moves in the cyclonic condition so in the month of December there is a in the month of December cyclones are formed over the Bay of Bengal and the cyclones have tropical cyclones have the tendency to or the mechanism is to move from east to west tropical cyclone always move from the east to west so therefore tropical cyclone which have been developed thereon the Lakshadweep Sea they have been moving to the west of the coast they have been moving to the west of the coast so this the coast of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Odisha and the coast of West Bengal have been affected by the tropical cyclones right because during the winter season the sea surface temperature of the ocean in the Bay of Bengal is more in comparison to the land and also this is under the effect of returning wind of the northeast right high pressure is maintained over the India so there is a continuous supply of the wind from the India to these oceans and also this wind has been moving or in the Arabian Sea this cyclone has been moving to the west because it is also pushed by the wind coming from the land right so this the Malabar this Konkan coast has not been affected by the tropical cyclone but here this northeast wind coming from the northeast direction so they have been pushing the cyclone towards India or the east coast of India right so entirely their coast of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and the West Bengal they have been affected by the tropical cyclones right so there are about the first cyclone is there are about at least 2 to 3 cyclones major first cyclone is major and destructive first cyclone is major and destructive what type of rainfall will occur here in the cyclonic system huh? What type of rainfall will occur here frontal rainfall कब होता है बताओ When does the frontal rainfall occurs?
cold and warm trends for light.
यहाँ पर कौन सा वाला है? Here is warm oceans. Warm oceans, the wind is coming from the tropical areas only. So this will be relatively warm. So there is a convergence of wind, and these winds have been forced to rise up. Their cloud condition, or the condensation, then rainfall is occurring. What type of rain? Convectional. So in this cyclonic system, there is a convectional rain, right? And in tropical cyclone, always convectional rainfall occurs. याद रखना. In tropical cyclone, there is a convectional rain. In temperate cyclone, there is a frontal rain. हाँ बोल. In temperate cyclone, there is frontal rain. Temperate cyclone क्या होता है? Mixing and convergence of warm and cold air masses. Right, that is frontal. Because of mixing of two air masses, there is a front has been formed. That happens in the temperate zone. So in the temperate cyclone, this is the cold and warm air mass mixes and they collide and rise up. Warm is lifted up. So there is a frontal rain. In convectional rainfall or in the tropical cyclone, because sea has been heated and warm, so there has been convergence of same properties of the wind or the same physical state of the winds. So they are converging and then rising. In tropical cyclone, there is no mixing of air, must remember this. There is no mixing of air because of winds which are converging along the low pressure center, they have the same temperature and the properties, same physical state, both are warm and moist also. Because they are blowing over the warm oceans, they will gain moisture. So latent heat of the water is also maintained high. So then they will be converging and rise up. So they do not mix because their physical state is same, rather they converge and rise. So that is then rising, process of condensation, the clouds will be formed vertically and their rainfall will be what type? Convectional rainfall. And this convectional rainfall, it occurs over the larger area or the smaller area. In the cyclonic condition, wind is lifted up, formation of clouds. So there will be layers, or the clouds will be formed in the layers. Convection, this is called cumulonimbus cloud. The cloud will be formed in the layers, right? So that this rainfall will occur over the larger area or smaller area. Small area. Reason for, there is a vertical cloud formed and it will precipitate over the small area, but it has the thick volume of the moisture. So that will precipitate over the smaller area and with a thick moisture or the thick precipitation. This is called the torrential rain. It is causing the torrential rain. So what is torrential rain? Short duration, heavy precipitation or heavy rain. Short duration, heavy precipitation is a torrential rain, right? So that this happens in the cyclonic condition. समझ में आ गया, right? But in temperate cyclone, so such condition does not develop. So there is a horizontal mixing of warm and cold. So in that condition, the precipitation occurs over the larger area. So temperate cyclonic rain will be mild and it will be in the larger area. That will not be destructive. Here, low pressure center is more. So pressure gradient force will be more. Yes or no? Because the sea has been heated more, and for the development of a cyclone, there should be the surface temperature. Sea surface temperature is 27 degrees Celsius and more. Then cyclone will be developed. Before Joy में क्या हुआ था? So the sea surface temperature was 30 to 32 degree. 30 degree to 32 degree Celsius temperature in the summer season, which is abnormally high. Otherwise, during the summer season, that amount of the heating does not take place in the oceans, that too in the Arabian Sea. So that abnormally increased the temperature. So what the wind the wind was supposed to reach there over in the India. So it was converged there on the low pressure center in the Arabian Sea, and it took the shape of cyclone, right, and then it has moved there on the west part, because this was more of the low pressure in the month of June. By that time the land was completely heated. So, this has reached, or it has taken the path of the west part of India, because that part was more heated. Ultimately it has to follow the pressure, right. Here this also, this low pressure center is developed over the oceans, then it has been there moving, or the wind is converging here, then moving towards the coastal areas. So, pressure gradient force is high because of high temperature on the sea surface, right. So, the wind velocity also will be high or not. If pressure gradient force is high, the wind velocity will be high. So, wind velocity has been recorded down that an average is about 120 to 150 kilometer per hour average, right, 120 to 150 kilometer per hour average wind velocity is there in the tropical cyclone. If this wind velocity increases, more than 150 kilometer per hour, this will be declared a super cyclone. This was there in the news. So, there it will be called a, if this wind velocity increases, that will be called a deep depression. Depression is different. Depression is responsible for developing a normal low pressure center. If this temperature is excessively increased and the pressure is decreased, that is called the, and that this intense low pressure is responsible for increasing the pressure gradient force, that is called the deep depression. So, deep depression is always declared or announced in the super cyclone condition. So, deep depression means there will be excessive low pressure center. Am I clear? समझ में आ गए, right? So, that cyclone has been developing and then they are reaching on the coast of the India, and but this is not crossing the hardly that the west, this interior of the India, or it is not reaching in the interior of India, right. These there are the 2-3 reasons. This cyclone, when it is hitting the coast of India, it is reaching there in the coastal areas, and there it is obstructed by the eastern Ghat. So, when it is obstructed by the eastern Ghat, so there will be absence of latent heat, and this orography will obstruct the precipitation and the movement of the wind. So, that as cyclone enters in the interior of the continent and the supply of heat and the moisture disappears, cyclone start dissipating, right. So, that this cyclone, as it gets the moisture over the coastal areas, so it maintain its track on the coast and then reach to the West Bengal. Clear? So, this is the track of the cyclone is there from the Tamil Nadu to Andhra Pradesh to Odisha and then to the West Bengal. Clear? समझ में आ गया? So, is it destructive or not destructive? Destructive or not destructive? Tell me fast. Destructive. Huh? What will control the destructive nature of the cyclone? What will control the destructive nature of cyclone? Wind velocity, rainfall, amount of rainfall, right? Rainfall is torrential over the smaller area, तो क्या होगा उससे? Cyclonic flood. The coastal areas of India does not have the monsoonal rain much. So, the coastal areas, particularly east coast of India, they have been affected by the cyclonic flood because of torrential rain. Clear? Next. It is, can we call this as climate is index of vegetation? Yes or no? Climate is index of vegetation. So, on the basis of climatic conditions, what we include in the climate? Temperature, precipitation, humidity, wind pattern, pressure condition, but for developing the vegetation cover, so these temperature, precipitation and humidity are the prominent or the key factors. So, on the basis of these conditions, the India has the different varieties of the forest cover in India. So, forest is what? Forest is what? The 10% of the area under tree over at least 1 hectare of land, right. This is the definition of according to Forest Survey Report of India. Any of the land which is having an area of the 1 hectare, of that 10% is covered under the tree, it will be called a forest, right. Then after, there also in the report of 2021 Forest Survey Report, in 2021, we have started developing a separate data for grasslands, right. Earlier grasslands used to be considered the part of the forest cover only. Now, the grassland have also been taken as a separate the vegetation cover over the India, right. So, these grasslands are taken as a separate the physical or the forest cover. So, that because of this there is a rise in forest cover, there is a rise in the forest cover. So, it has been called about, or the forest has been classified as dense forest. Dense forest, where the land has been, or it is called the very dense forest. Land has been the area under the more than 70% of area under the forest cover, right. More than 70% area is 70% and more is the area under the forest cover. It is called the moderately forest cover. This is 40 to 70% area is under the forest cover. Then low forest cover. This is 10% to 40% or less forest cover. 10% to 40% area is under the forest cover is called the less forest, or it is also low forest, right. And less than 10% has been included in the shrubs and grasslands, right. Clear? So, this is canopy cover is the 70%, 10% the range of the total forest land, and the forest cover data or the forest report has been released every 2 years. Forest survey report has been released every 2 years. Then after there is also the forest data has been collected from the October to December October to December over the India. Forest data has been collected from October to December, but this data collection extends to the month of March in the over the area of northeast region and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Right? Clear? अब यहाँ पे देख लो. There the duration of the monsoon is longer in the southern hemisphere or not? Oh, sorry. Duration of monsoon is longer over the southern India. Right? Means early arrival, later departure. When the monsoon reaches over the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the first monsoon reach over the Andaman and Nicobar Island even before the Kerala. The Kerala receives the first rain over the mainland, but first monsoon reach over the Andaman Nicobar Island in the last week of May. And there is also the early arrival and late departure. So the period of the monsoon there on the Andaman Nicobar is for the 8 to 9 months. The duration of the monsoon is longest, right? And also we can also generalize the statement that over the southern state, the period of monsoon or duration of the monsoon increases. Duration of the monsoon decreases from the south to north. Yes or no? Duration of the monsoon decreases from the south to north, means the late arrival, early departure, where northwest part of India, Punjab and Haryana. This is Punjab and Haryana has a least rainfall and also the late arrival, and there is also an early departure. It reaches in the month of July and it starts departing from the month of September itself. So duration is lesser, yes or no, for the northwest part of India. The amount of rainfall also decreases from the east to west, right. So that in the month of in the Andaman and Nicobar region, that data collection of the forest cover extends or shifts to the month of March. Reason for that area is the cloud cover for the long period of time under the effect of monsoon flow. Clear ho gaya? So that the data collection has been up to the month of March in the Andaman and Nicobar Island. The data has been collected by LIS 3 sensor of remote sensing. LIS 3 sensor of remote sensing. This is high resolution sensor which has the ratio of about 23 meter by 23 meter. समझ में आ गया 23 meter by 23 meter means when the satellite comes over a place, over a surface, it collects a picture and it sends on the ground station. Means in the one picture, so there will be the area of 23 meter by 23 meter over the surface. So that way when the satellite is in the atmosphere, when satellite is crossing that area, so it will have the different pictures in the sequence of this size. So that the entire area will be covered under the forest cover, or the data will be collected from this area or over the surface. Clear? So that there is a process of the forest cover in India, right. So on the basis of this forest cover, so we have the largest cover of the forest of tropical forest. India has the largest forest cover is of tropical forest, and in the tropical forest we have tropical moist deciduous forest, and then after tropical dry deciduous forest, tropical dry deciduous forest, right. Then after in the forest survey report, the more of emphasis have been given on the mangroves. More emphasis has been given on the mangroves. The largest cover of the mangroves are in the West Bengal, which is about 42%. Largest cover of the mangroves is in the West Bengal over the Sundarban Delta. So that Sundarban, it is called because of the dominance of the Sundari tree in the forest cover, right. Then after there has been the after that there is Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, states which has the maximum forest cover. Other state which also has a mangrove forest are Maharashtra, Karnataka, then after there is Kerala also, Odisha also, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They all have other states which also have the forest cover. The mangroves are the highest carbon sink zone on the earth. Highest carbon sink zones on the earth, and also they are called the tidal forest. They are called tidal forest. Am I clear? They are called the tidal forest. So these tidal forests are those forests which can live in the saline water as well as fresh water. Clear हो गया?
Sir, why not Amazon forest? Why not Amazon forest? They should be known as the carbon sink zone.
They are also the carbon sink zone. They are one of highest carbon sink zones on the earth, because they are also the evergreen forest. They are also categorized under the tropical evergreen forest because they can survive both in saline and the freshwater zones in the coastal areas, right. So there has been the largest degradation of urban forest cover. Largest degradation of urban forest cover, and also in recent time the degradation of the forest in the Himalayan states or Himalayan forest, right. Largest degradation of the Himalayan forest, that too particularly in the western Himalayas, Clear? समझ में आ गया, right. So the dominance of the forest cover in India is of tropical deciduous forest. Deciduous forest क्या होता है? What is that? That is deciduous forest. हाँ? Yes. Monsoon forest. So what is that monsoon forest?
These are usually receive rainfall from the monsoon.
They receive rainfall from monsoon. Deciduous forests are those which shed their leaves during dry period. During the dry period. So there is a certain time period in the monsoon climate, when there is no rain, right? So then they shed the leaves, right? So those forests which have been shedding the leaves in a certain time period, so that called the deciduous forest. So on the basis of the period of shedding leaves, so deciduous forest is divided into two. This is called moist deciduous and dry deciduous. Moist deciduous forests are in those areas where the rainfall is 100 to 200 centimeter. Dry deciduous forests are the areas of 75 to 100 centimeter. So dry deciduous areas rainfall is less, so they will shed the leaves for the longer time, about 30 to 45 days. So there is a rainfall is more, so they will have the relatively more availability of the moisture in the soil, so they shed the leaves for about 20 to 25 days, or some books you will find the 15 to 20 days, right? Clear ho gaya? So that is the deciduous forest. Clear? Then after these soil, these forest, climate, topography, they all influence the formation of soil, right? So the soil has been affected by forest cover or the vegetation, climate and topography, right? So what is soil? Soil is fragmented rock material, is called the soil. So soil is a renewable resource or non-renewable? Soil is a renewable resource, non-renewable resource? It is renewable. So this takes about 600 to 1000 years to form about 2.5 centimeter thick layer of soil. तो उसका renewable बोलेंगे, non renewable बोलेंगे. We'll call it a renewable or non renewable. It is a non renewable. So means it any of the natural resource which takes a long time to regenerate is categorized under the non renewable resources. At least 1-2 generation cannot see the renovation or the renewable of the soil or the any resource. That is categorized under the non-renewable resource. Clear? So this is the non-renewable resource. So that this physical condition for formation of soil, is parental rock. Number one. Number two is it is slope, or we can call it as a relief. Number three is vegetation. Number four is climate, right? Climate. And then after this is the number five is time. So soil is or padogenesis. Pado means soil, genesis means origin, is a function of parental rock, vegetation, climate, then after relief over the period of time, right? So soil is, it is formed by the process of in situ action and the ex situ action, right. In situ action, that is weathering, is responsible for the formation of soil, right. Ex situ action is the erosion, is the ex situ action for the formation of soil, right. So also the process of denudation, is known for the action for the origin or the formation of soil. That is what is the denudation process? Denudation process is lowering of relief, means reducing the height of any topography, that is a lowering of relief. Then lowering of relief, that is divided again into, this is denudation process is weathering, mass wasting and erosion. Weathering, mass wasting and erosion. Weathering is responsible for breaking the rock, right, and mass wasting is the sliding of the rock, and erosion is, it is the wearing, transportation and deposition of the rock material. So therefore, the primary factor for the formation of the soil is, or the quality of the soil is primary rock. Clear हो गया? So that the primary rock is the best action, by best example is alluvial soil, black soil, red soil are the best example of the primary rock and the soil varieties, right. So the black soil is formed from the igneous rock, red soil is formed from the ferrous rich rock, and the alluvial soil is formed from the sedimentary rock. Rest are the external factor in determining the variety or the quality of soil. For example, vegetation. Vegetation will control the humus content in the soil, right. Vegetation will add the organic matter. So it will make the soil is organically rich or not, right. And along with that, with the climate, there will be the presence of organic matter in the soil, right. So the soil will be rich in the organic matter when the climate is a very active, or the climate is very important factor over there. If water is present there in the vegetation cover, then decomposition, the decay of the plant leaves and the organic matter will be taking place in the soil and will provide the rich humus. समझ में आ गई? Clear? So that will provide the rich humus. So the soil will be rich in the organic matter. So this will be the superior quality of soil. The color of the soil will also change because of this organic matter. So this will turn into brown because of decomposition of the organic matter. More of the presence of the organic matter and decomposition will make the soil brown, right. So accordingly, this soil will have the minerals. Igneous soil will be rich in the minerals like silica, manganese. This ferrous rich soil will be rich in the iron. This alluvial soil will have the presence of gypsum, right. So it will also have the presence of gypsum and the limestone, alluvial soil. So that accordingly, variety of the soil has been developed over an area. Clear? समझ में आ गया? Now today, in the present context, the soil variety has been changing faster, And in today's time, in the recent, in the this age of the urbanization, industrialization, and there the soil is becoming deficit in organic matter, and the soil has been degraded in the quality with the addition of the chemical component or chemical mixture. So, soil is becoming acidic, or this soil is becoming contaminated or polluted because of discharge of minerals or discharge of chemicals in the soil. Clear? So, the soil is becoming deficit in the organic matter because of deforestation, and also because of deforestation there is a rate of erosion, and because of rate of erosion there is a rate of landslides, and because of landslides there is a more of the siltation in the river bed, right. So, more of the siltation is responsible for the river bed. Am I clear? समझ में आ गया, राइट? कोई डाउट किसी को? जो सरप्लस वाला हो गया ना, एक्सेस रेनफॉल, then the average is a La Nina, right? Normal condition, the rainfall, then the normal condition or the more than the normal condition, it is a La Nina. Last year there was, even though there was a heat wave, but there was delay in the monsoon, but because of heat wave there was surplus rain overall, right? That was the effect of La Nina. Okay. Then El Nino, in the last El Nino occurred in the year of 2018, right? And El Nino occurs on an average in the year of 3 to 4 years because of the global warming, right? It was supposed to be last 2016 में हुआ था, last 16. The El Nino was supposed to happen in the 2018, but did not happen. It was supposed to happen in the year of 2018 and 19. It did not happen. Again after, it was supposed to happen in the year of 2021 or 22. Again it did not happen. This was called double dip. It was called the double dip of El Nino, right? In 2023, there was a surety that there will be El Nino, right? But what has happened here this year? El Nino has occurred, but the effect of El Nino have started appearing in the later time. Till then the monsoon had reached, and the effect of El Nino has not been observed on the monsoon in India 2023. And if the El Nino did not occur, it was not there El Nino this year, and it was expected, it was predicted that 2025 will have the massive and destructive El Nino. So, when the effect of this El Nino will be extremely adverse over the entire globe. The areas which does not receive rain, they will have the excessive rainfall, excessive precipitation. Where the areas where the normal rainfall occurs, they will have the deficit rainfall or no rain. So, some areas will have the flood, some areas will have the extreme drought. Clear? Right? So, that is the adverse. El Nino is always the adverse effect. Right? This was question once in prelims. El Nino has adverse impact on the monsoon, and La Nina has the adverse impact on the monsoon. Right? So, this was the question in the prelims exam. Clear हो गया? Right? कोई doubt तो नहीं है? चलिए, so we will continue tomorrow the human economic geography of the world.